The current day manufacturing of chocolate involves very specific steps, but their order of completion varies slightly based upon the preferences of the manufacturer. Despite the variation in ingredients added and equipment used, the steps remain largely the same. As with any agriculturally based product, the process begins with the growing of the plant and the harvesting of its fruit. Due to the plant's structure and the uneven ripening of its fruits, cacao pods must still be harvested by hand, making it a labor-intensive process. There are several steps that must occur immediately after harvesting, which requires the first portion of the processing to take place at the site of the cacao growth. This begins with the fermentation of the beans and pulp. The typical 5 days of fermentation results in the creation of the flavor precursors needed to develop the characteristic chocolate flavor during roasting. After fermenting the beans, they must be dried in order to stop the fermentation process and to lower the moisture content of the beans to approximately 8%, making them stable for shipping and usage. Drying can be achieved either completely through the use of sunshine or through any of several artificial drying methods. After the beans are accepted at a manufacturing plant, they must first be cleaned and sorted to ensure that no foreign matter remains. The fermented beans must be roasted in order to develop the chocolate flavor. Roasting can be done to whole beans, nibs, or liquor, depending on the manufacturer's preference. Roasting for a longer amount of time and at a higher temperature results in a darker brown product and a deeper flavor, while lower roast chocolates are lighter brown with a reddish color and contain more of the subtle flavor nuances. Roasted cacao still contains volatile acids and is therefore rather sour. If so chosen, the manufacturer will next blend beans from various origins in order to create a more complex flavor in the final product. However, this step is not necessary and is clearly avoided when making single origin chocolate. Micronizing is the breaking apart of the beans into their two separate components, nibs and shells. After the micronizing process is complete, the winnowing process can begin. Winnowing is the removal of the shells from the nibs through the use of a progression of sieves and airflow. Shells must be removed to achieve the most desirable flavors and reduce the softening effect that they have on cocoa butter. The FDA requires that chocolate liquor must not contain any more than 1.75% cocoa shells. Dutch processing is an optional step in the manufacturing process, and it usually is only used in the production of cocoa powder. Dutch processing is the addition of an alkali, usually potassium carbonate, to cacao. It can be done to whole beans, nibs, or chocolate liquor. Dutching is primarily used to reduce the acidity of the cacao and results in a final product with a much darker color and reduced sour notes. Milling, or grinding, is the process of creating chocolate liquor by crushing the nibs. While some of the resulting chocolate liquor becomes an ingredient for the chocolate, a portion of the liquor will be pressed, resulting in both cocoa butter and cocoa powder. The ingredients for the chocolate are then combined and mixed together. These ingredients include chocolate liquor, sugar, cocoa butter, vanilla, lecithin, and sometimes milk solids. Refining is necessary to achieve the smooth mouthfeel desired in quality chocolate. In this process, the mixed chocolate is run through various rollers, either made of stone or steel, to reduce the particle size to below 25 microns. This sizing ensures that the individual particles are undetectable on the human palate. After refining the chocolate, it is a thick paste with a sour aroma. In order to remove all traces of water and coat the particles in cocoa butter, to improve the viscosity, chocolate must go through the conching process. Conching is done by exposing the chocolate to long-term heat, agitation, and oxygen. It usually takes between 3 and 96 hours. Conching also evaporates the volatile acids, which removes the sour component. Before the chocolate manufacturing process is complete, the chocolate must be tempered. Tempering is done to create the characteristic snap upon setting and shiny appearance. It is achieved through the continuous agitation of chocolate at a controlled temperature while being seeded with stage 5 cocoa butter crystals. After the chocolate is properly tempered, It is deposited in the desired molds and cooled in a manner that ensures proper crystallization and reduces the chances of sugar bloom. The chocolate has completed its manufacturing process and can now make its way to the consumer.